Hello, I'm Stan Stalnaker from Hub Culture, and we're back at Climate Week NYC 2013, going into its 5th and greatest year ever. Joining me is Stephanie Abrams from the Weather Channel, the on-air meteorologist.
Yep.
This is your first year with the Weather Channel affiliation to Climate Week NYC, which is really great. Tell us about why you guys are involved, and really what's the Weather Channel's view on the kind of climate subject at large?
Well, we're getting involved because we want to educate people. That is our goal. Let's just give you the facts. We're scientists. Here's what's happening in the environment, and these are the effects. And so I think that we just want to help people understand climate change, A, and then B, you can do little things at home. You know, I always say, turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth. You don't have to let it run. And whether you believe in climate change or not, let's just not be wasteful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
right?
At least you're saving money, right?
Right, that's how I look at it. Like, you know, there's some people that you're just not gonna convince, and that's, you know, that's their prerogative. But let's just not be wasteful.
Yeah. Well, let's get down to the weather facts. So you guys are looking at this subject every day because you're obviously telling about the weather to millions of people, not only in the United States, but around the world. Tell us, what are you guys seeing? Like, are you seeing changes, and how are those changes kind of manifesting?
Well, if you look at, you know, with climate, obviously you have to look at a large time period in order to get any sort of data. So it is interesting to see the CO2 levels go up and then see the temperature trend on that same line. And then, you know, you see if you look at the North Pole and just the ice is shrinking over time.
Ice retreat is a major thing.
And the glaciers that you see pictures from the 1900s, and it looks nothing like that now. So it is interesting to see all of that.
So one of the things that people talk about a lot with climate is, okay, there's this whole idea of global warming, which on a long-term trend, maybe over generations you can measure. But in the short term, the things that we can see right away are extreme weather. So these kind of like maybe more volatility and that sort of thing. Are you guys seeing that? And what are some examples of things that you guys have noticed? It's
hard to say, you know, because we had Katrina and because we had Sandy, they're caused by, you know, a conclusion. It's really hard to say that because with climate change, there's so many variables that are changing. You know, the temperature is then going to change, maybe how winds are, or maybe ocean currents. And so it's hard to come up with a conclusion right away about severe weather. And again, there's a lot of people now that have phones and cameras just like this that are out, you know, the tornado numbers are higher. Well, that has to do a little bit in part, obviously. Just more media. More media. And, you know, tornadoes that you would have never seen before, they're all over them. So you have to take that into consideration. And I think we just need a longer period to kind of see the exact, you know, connection. Yeah. And so when it comes to like a viewer and somebody out there in the world who's interested in this subject, what are the top things that you guys suggest that people can do to make a difference themselves? Well, like I said, turn the water off, turn the lights off. I love in Europe and a lot of places, your room key, when you put it in, it turns the lights on, and you have to take it out to leave, obviously, and the lights turn out, you know? Yeah. Plastic bags, you don't need to use them. We're talking about 1,000 or 2,000, something like that, you know, a number of years to biodegrade. And those cloth bags, I think, are so much easier to carry on your shoulders. Yeah. And they look better. They look better. You don't have to, you're not like lugging, you know, when you want to get all the groceries in at one time and then you get like those plastic marks on your arm. Right. So little things like that, which you don't have to make a big change, and it can make such a huge difference. So before we wrap up, just tell me one last thing about the Weather Channel, your guys' involvement with Climate Week NYC. Tell us about the things that you guys are doing this week. We have panels. I'm gonna kick off the ceremonies today, which I'm really excited about. And then on Thursday, we have Mayor Bloomberg is going to be speaking, and our panels are more about like what people are doing, some innovative things, which I'm kind of excited about, you know, to help with the climate and whatnot, and also just teaching and those types of panels. Getting the message out. Getting the message out, yeah. That's great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. No, thanks for having me. Stephanie Abrams from the Weather Channel and myself at Climate Week NYC, kicking it off. Yes. And getting the ball rolling. I wore the right shoes to kick it off too. Check out those shoes. I wanted to make sure, you know, that I could kick it off properly with some sneakers and not fall. We're walking, talking, running, and moving, right? Exactly. So thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you online. Cool.